Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Now, that's Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Fox News affiliates. You can also find us on, we have one of those podcast things going on, too, at thenewscasters.com and all the social media sites. But anyway, it's always a great time to be with you. Continue sending emails. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. I have a longtime friend here, AP Steadham, and he's our sports guy. We come to him for everything sports. What's going on in the wide world of sports, AP?
Can you make your free throws in the clutch, Donna? I want to know. We'll put you on the team.
I'm good.
That's important. Or make a clutch shot at the end, as we saw Tennessee with a long three-pointer in Knoxville to defeat Alabama. Yeah, teams went back and forth. And in basketball, Donna, you get so many possessions. So you're back and forth. Whereas football, maybe they have the ball 8 or 9 plays in a row, you don't get the ball for 5, 6, 7 minutes, even longer. But basketball, so at the end, when you're close, there's plays to be made that can win a ball game. Well, Alabama had an out-of-bounds play. They couldn't get the ball in, so that's a 5-second violation, according to the official. Some people, it was rather a quick call, but that was the call that was made. And then Nate Oates kind of took the blame for the loss. He didn't have the proper substitution. He didn't call timeout for the play to get the ball in bounds with about 2.5 seconds left. And then he didn't substitute the guard so they can guard the Tennessee player when he's running down the court trying to make that last second shot. And I thought that was one of the greatest displays of a player having a court sense of awareness, dribbling the ball up the court. Alabama didn't make him zigzag to take the time off the clock, because that was an error on Alabama's part. But to the Tennessee's credit, they went straight to the basket. He planted his feet, got ready to literally launch the basketball, because it was around maybe it was a 35-foot shot or so, 35, 40 feet. And he followed through. He kept his eye on the goal, didn't move his body, just a little bit. He was pushing forward, of course, to give it that extra strength to reach the rim. And he hit nothing but the bottom of the net for the win against Alabama. So that was a crucial game. Some called it the most important game in Tennessee basketball history, because Alabama and Tennessee were fighting out to have a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. So Tennessee won that ball game. They came all the way back. Alabama had some separation there at the end, but you have to make those critical plays at the end and throughout the game, Donna. We always discuss free throws. Can you make those free throws? The ones in the first minute count towards the final score. They all matter.
Everyone does matter. Absolutely.
Everyone matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was exciting.
Rick had a question for you about Hugh Freeze. He has cancer. Yes. Heard anything else about that?
No, that's all we've heard so far. So I'm sure that I don't think he'll continue to discuss his situation, but he'll keep everybody updated. I think that's probably the best way. You make the announcement, you follow your doctor's recommendations, and take your medicine and all the treatment that's required. And then when you have to give another major update, I think that's what he'll do. I believe that's the best way to manage that situation.
Well, they got to it in time, so he didn't drag it out. So that's good. So I think supposedly he's going to have a good recovery there. So
yes, hopefully so. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the top 5 in basketball. Who is that?
Yeah, well, Donna, we'll give you what we're going to give you is the Associated Press, Donna, and they come out with this poll on Mondays around I think it's 11 o'clock Central approximately. But anyway, and this, I'm going to bring out the point. I'm doing the women's and the men, which we like to do, of course. Auburn at number 1, and they can lose the rest of their games. They got a couple games here. Maybe they can lose them, but they're still going to be a number 1 seed, probably the overall number 1 seed, I would say, in the NCAA March Madness tournament. They're number 1. Tennessee's number 4. Florida is number 5, and Florida is the only team in the conference, Donna, that has beaten Tennessee. I mean, has beaten Auburn. I'm sorry, has beaten Auburn. Mm-hmm. I believe that was at Auburn. So Florida's a good basketball team. Alabama, number 7. Missouri, number 15, Kentucky, number 19, Texas A&M, number 22. They've had a bad stretch here, but maybe they can recover because I've seen that happen with basketball teams. They do well at the end, but they've done so much at the beginning of the season that they're going to be in the NCAA tournament, and then they kind of regroup. They regroup mentally and physically, have a few days off to get ready for the tournament. Number 25 is Mississippi State, number 25. So that's 8 teams in the top AP 25, Donna. 8 teams. Vandy received some votes. That's 78 votes, and Ole Miss received 13 votes on the men's side. So you've got those 8 teams plus 2 other teams. That's 10 out of the 16, either in the top 25 or receiving votes. That's a good omen for the SEC to have a lot of teams in the tournament. I think it's going to probably be maybe anywhere from 11 to 13 out of the 16, which is historic, unprecedented for them, and maybe for a league probably, or getting close to tying the record. Now, on the women's side, Donna, we have number 1 is Texas, number 1 in the country, Texas. They're the newcomers to the conference, but they've been good in women's basketball through the decades. South Carolina is number 5, LSU is number 9, Oklahoma number 10, Kentucky number 12, Tennessee number 18, Alabama number 19. So you see some crossover there. Mm-hmm. A few teams are ranked on the men's side and the women's side. Then you had one team receiving votes to be in the top 25. That was Ole Miss, 15 votes. Now, Donna, I think this is something new for the SEC. There's more teams on the men's side in the top 25 than the women. It used to be for decades that women had more teams in the top 25 than the men. I've seen years where the SEC has 2-3 teams, top 25. Here we are this late in the season, 8. So the men's basketball has really made a surge and ascended to one of the top, if not the top conference in the country. The SEC women's has always been considered one of the better conferences on the women's side. So that's historic in and of itself to have both the women's and the men with so many teams in the top 25 and others receiving votes as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk coaches on the women's side. Who's somebody who really sticks out there?
Well, that Tennessee coach, she came in and she's got that team playing good basketball. They're ranked 18th. And I think that's a testament to her coming in here in her first year and trying to make improvements. And right away, she's in the top 25. I think that bodes well for the Tennessee faithful. They're looking forward. They've had other coaches since the Pat Summitt has passed, and they've had a number of coaches, but she seems to understand what to do to bring a winner to Tennessee. So I look for her to be a challenger for a number of years to come. Then you look at, for instance, the top teams, Texas, South Carolina, LSU, they've always had Vic Schaefer would coach at Mississippi State. We know he made 2 Final Fours at Mississippi State, upset Connecticut that had a winning streak of over 110, 111, something like that. So we know that he's familiar with winning and building programs. And now he's at Texas where he's got the opportunity to recruit in the state of Texas, which has a plethora of players on the women's side as they do the men. So, and I would say you're looking at Alabama, they're 19th ranked. Christy Curry, I think this is her 13th year. She had a big win against LSU. They had a dry spell there, beating top teams, and they were able to win that ball game against LSU and Kim Mulkey. And we know Kim Mulkey, she knows about championships. She's won at Baylor a number of championships and at LSU as well. So, and then Oklahoma's a newcomer. So you have the 2 newcomers on the women's side, Texas and Oklahoma. Texas number 1, Oklahoma number 10. So that helps the women's basketball in the SEC. Kentucky's right in there at number 12. They have a new coach. I believe he coached at Virginia Tech. I think he did, but he's brought winning ways back to Kentucky and Lexington on the women's side. So there's some newer teams in the top 25 on the women's side at this point in the season. Alabama being one of them, I would say. And Kentucky has returned because they were good a number of years under various coaches. And on the men's side, Donna, Mississippi State. There's other schools on the men's side. You're thinking they have more basketball tradition. But here's Mississippi State, number 25. Buzz Williams at Texas A&M, number 22. Kentucky's making a resurgence with Mark Pope, who played at Kentucky. He was on that 1996 championship team. Mizzou, Don, I don't know if Mizzou won a game last year in the conference. I think they lost every one. That's my recollection. But here they are sitting at number 15 in the country. When you have 350, 360 Division I men's basketball teams, you lost all your games last year in the conference, and here you are the following year, you're in the top 15.
That's pretty good. So what do they do differently? Because that sounds like the Cinderella team right there.
Yeah, Missouri. So I think that more talent, of course, it always helps. You're a better coach when you have players who can put the ball in the basket. So they had the roster management was much improved, and consequently their team is winning ball games. And I think a team also we look at, Donna, they're not in the top 25, but they're receiving votes on the men's side, is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt received 78 votes to be in the top 25. So I've talked to some people. Matter of fact, our last show, we had Pat Bradley, played at the University of Arkansas. He's a SEC Network basketball analyst. And he said the surprise team for him was Vanderbilt. Most people would say Mizzou, right? Because they didn't win a game last year and they're in the top 15. But Vanderbilt is right in there. I think they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. So that's a turnaround for their relatively new coach. And Ole Miss is in there as well.
Because they did great in football this year and last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, what gave them the shot to really go out there and do it?
You know, Donna, when you have an administration, Candace Story, the former Vanderbilt women's player, is the director of athletics. When you have somebody who meets with the coaches and tells them, look, we're going to support you in every way that we can. That means the resources to recruit. Maybe you're trying to get a player overseas and they say, we need some money to go overseas. I mean, maybe you have to go across the country and find somebody, but it's all based on the personnel. Don. You must manage that roster. If you want to compete, what is the Wimp Sanderson, the former coach at Alabama, would say the Kentucky Derby was never won by a jackass, right? So you have to get some people that are above average in that sport. And obviously the men's team at Vanderbilt, and I believe the women's team have been a pretty good year as well. They're getting people that are SEC caliber. And we know that the type of player that's being recruited to the SEC is much improved. Mm-hmm. So you've got to get not only better, but much better, Donna, with your roster management to bring in these players. You can't have just one shooter. You got to try to get three. In basketball, you need minimum 3 shooters because invariably one night, 1 or 2 will be off. And you got to have some people off the bench that can spark you as well, because basketball is a game where substitution is very important. You can really generate offense and defense and rebounding by one decision that the coach makes to bring in a certain individual. You can really turn around a game.
Yeah, there also has to be a lot of pride there. And I'm seeing it out of the players and also the fans seem to really be riveted right now.
Well, the SEC, they're passionate about their teams. I think if it was Tiddlywinks, Donna, they'd be there. They'd be there. If you bring a top 25 or a competitive team nationally or regionally to their campus, they're going to show up because they have a lot of pride, as you say, in their school, and they contribute money, and they're expecting their coaches to be successful. Maybe not win the championship, but being competitive, being at the top of the league, beating other teams in their non-conference games, and showing that they're a representative, not only from, let's say, Vanderbilt, that can represent the whole entire conference regionally and everywhere in this country.
Absolutely. AP, we have to go into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay? By the way, continue with the questions, Donna at donnasedge.com. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Alabama. Check us out on the web at TwinCityUsedCars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Now, that's Central Time as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. And AP gets to ride with. AP has been riding with us in the afternoon for years. So, and we're proud to have you as part of this network.
Thank you, Donna.
Absolutely. Now, also AP, as we see it, what's going on with the show?
Yeah, Donna, we had a really cool guest, I thought, last week, Pat Bradley, as I mentioned in the first segment. He played at Arkansas. He's on the SEC network as the men's basketball analyst, and he's very engaging, knowledgeable. He was a two-time All-SEC selection as a shooting guard. His specialty was the long shot, Donna, from the three-point line, but he gave a breakdown of some of the interesting facts and figures about the SEC men's basketball this year, which we keep repeating because it's notable. It's an historic season with so many teams being ranked high. And we're looking for big things. Everyone is looking for big things in that NCAA basketball tournament for the SEC to have one minimum. Got to have minimum one in the Final Four, maybe two. We're looking for a handful to reach the Sweet 16. Because I said there's going to be 10, 11, 12 teams from the conference, it has to be the most of all time from the SEC in the NCAA tournament. So they might even cross paths. When you have so many teams, there's only 4 regions, you can't escape. So you might win a game. Next thing you know, you're playing an SEC team. Saying, we played this team twice already. We might have played them 3 times because we met them in the SEC tournament as well, which will be happening soon.
Yes, I wanted to ask you a question. This came from Randall, and Randall wanted, in your opinion, who in the SEC, who are the 2 biggest rivals? We think Alabama, Auburn, but it could be somebody else.
Right. Yeah, and the rivalry in football, that Alabama-Auburn game, because it's in state, and they discuss it every day of the year. It's relentless. And I think if you look at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, that's pretty heated. Yeah. Oklahoma, Texas now is coming into the league. That's a big rivalry within the conference now. You look at Texas A&M and Texas. They're going to, I believe they're going to continue to play that series down. I hope so. Texas A&M and Texas, they played for so many years and they quit when A&M went into the SEC and Texas State in the Big 12. But now they're both in the same. I hope they continue that rivalry. I'm thinking the other teams in the conference, Kentucky, Tennessee, that's always a border rivalry. Football, basketball, Vanderbilt, Tennessee rivalry. Outside the conference, South Carolina, Clemson, as you know, strong rivalry there, very loyal.
I want you to pick one here.
Yeah, they're pretty tough. Florida State outside the conference, and I'm trying to think. Missouri and Arkansas have a little bit of a rivalry going on. A little bit of rivalry. And Arkansas, they always enjoy playing Texas. So Texas is in the conference. So I think, that might hold true. They might continue to play that series, Arkansas and Texas. Donna, we know that the 24 and 25 schedules are the same in football for these 2 years. So I think we're waiting on that 20, 25, 26 and beyond. We're not certain there. But did I miss out on it? Georgia Tech, of course. But to answer your question, I think it's Auburn, Alabama.
Something I'm kind of thinking there's a little bit more rocking going on with Alabama and Tennessee because Alabama fans still have not forgotten Philip Fulmer. Every time people send an email, it's about and I'm like, let it go. Philip Fulmer has not been the coach there for how many years?
Yeah, right. That a long time. That's been the consistent opponent, Donna, because Auburn and Alabama did not play for 40 years.
Yeah.
But Alabama and Tennessee, that was the game. And it was more in the middle of the season. That third Saturday in October was notorious in college football when Alabama played Tennessee, Tennessee played Alabama. So you're correct. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that specific one up. Just like the Oklahoma-Texas game is played fairly early in the season, early October, second week in October or so. But yeah, that Tennessee-Alabama game, they've been rivals very long. I would say they've been rivals maybe longer, I think.
I think that helps too. Yeah,
because the other team,
where I was living, up in North Alabama, which is really close to the Tennessee State.
Yeah, there's some Tennessee fans up there that live in Alabama. Sure is. Yeah.
Which is highly unusual. Let me go ahead and turn this off. My phone could ring at any time. That's the way it goes. Okay, so we're talking about let's talk about. So we had a lot of emails still about football players being paid, college football players being paid. Do you think that's about to be moderate now? Because I know it was a hot topic this past year. Are people getting used to it?
It'll take some time, Donna, because when they had free agency in professional sports, it took people years because they were so used to the player being there for 10 years. And in college, you follow a player, maybe a sensational freshman, you're thinking, well, we're going to have him for at least 3 years because he's going to go pro, let's say in football. Now, you might watch that player 1 year. I'll give you an example, Donna. Quinshawn Judkins, Ole Miss. 2 times he was an all-SEC selection, running back from a small town in Alabama, Pike Road, played at Ole Miss. Here he was on the national championship team at Ohio State. That could never would have happened before because you would have had to sit out a year, and more than likely you would have stayed at Ole Miss. But so I was thinking about this, Donna, as we prepared for the show. Is Congress going to be able to moderate, legislate, come to grips, and have something that is a national law for all the schools in every state to follow, and they'll present guidelines as well? I don't know if they have the appetite. I was trying to remember the first time I had the state senator from California on my show, because California, of course, people think the trends move from east to west, but they really move from west to east. Mm-hmm. They start in the West Coast, usually. And so I had him on the show many years ago. It's got to be 4 or 5 years now. And we're still at a place where it's the Wild West. We have not changed that moniker for the situation with the name, image, likeness, and the transfer portal scenario. So I don't know what's going to happen down it, but I know this, as always, any rule changes, whoever adapts will be and accepts those challenges, embraces those changes, will succeed.
I think so too. Whoever's ready to take that bull by the horns. So let me ask you a question about Senator Tommy Tuberville
right.
from Auburn. Have you heard any remarks from him with this subject?
Right. Not lately, but you would think, especially the SEC region and the Big Ten, because those are the 2 power players that will take command of this college football situation in 2026. You would think you would have a caucus among all those senators and governors, representatives, one big caucus. I mean, I would say, why don't they do that? Why don't they have that for one day? Bring in all the representatives, the senators, the governors from all those states in the Big Ten and the SEC, and come up with something, because they're the ones that at the moment, and I don't foresee this changing, they hold all the power. They have all the cards. So why not all get together, come up with some ideas? I think that would be a great idea. I think the country would love that.
I think so too, because I can see it really getting out of hand. If something, we've got to really have something a little bit more stable. You know what I mean? I mean, change is good. Change exercises our brains. But I can see this just being really could be a problem.
Yeah, it will continue to fester with the fans, I think, for a while, to get used to somebody playing at one school, and then the next year, hey, that guy's running for touchdowns with our rival. What happened?
Absolutely. We're going to have to call it today. I can't believe this. Okay, how can folks find out more about you, and how can folks find you, AP, as we see it?
Yeah, on our YouTube channel, AP As We See It, we videotape everything. Check our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and X account. And then we're also on Spotify. Everything is archived there, all the audio. So check us out. You can find us, and like I say, you can watch us forever.
Absolutely. AP, thank you so much for being with me today. As always, you're always part of this program. And thank you guys so much for watching. Continue sending emails. I know they're heated sometimes, but Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Donna@DonnasEdge.com. I promise you I read every single one of them. Bye. Take care. See you guys later.
Bye, Donna.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.